They told you to go to school, get good grades, find a safe job, climb the ladder, and one day, maybe one day, you'd finally be free. But look around you. The ladder is leaning against the wrong wall. You wake up to an alarm you didn't set with your soul, sit in traffic with thousands of tired faces, and trade your hours, the very essence of your life, for a paycheck that barely covers the cost of surviving. They call it stability, but it is a prison dressed in routine. And the walls of that prison are invisible, built not of concrete but of conditioning. This is the rat race. A wheel that spins faster the harder you run. A maze designed to keep you busy chasing crumbs while the architects of the system dine on feasts. The tragedy is not that people are trapped. The tragedy is that most have forgotten they are even in a cage. But you are different. Somewhere inside, you feel the quiet rage, the sacred unrest, the refusal to be a pawn in someone else's game. And that feeling, that fire, is the key. Because the moment you decide to stop running in circles, the moment you dare to break the pattern, you begin the journey to escape the rat race. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Freedom begins in the mind before it is ever felt in the bank account. Long before it takes the form of wealth, time, or choices, it starts as a decision, a refusal to accept the script written for you by others. Think of every man and woman who rose from obscurity to greatness. Henry Ford, once a farm boy, who dared to believe he could put the world on wheels when the so-called experts laughed. Thomas Edison, ridiculed by teachers as too stupid to learn anything, who went on to light up the entire planet. Walt Disney, fired from a newspaper for lacking creativity, who turned imagination into an empire. What separated them from the masses was not privilege, not luck, but the audacity to reject the rat race before the term even existed. You see, society rewards conformity because conformity is predictable. A worker who obeys is easier to manage than a thinker who questions. That is why the system trains you from childhood to ask for permission, to fear failure, to equate safety with submission. But here is the truth they never taught you in classrooms. Security is an illusion. The company can lay you off tomorrow. The economy can collapse overnight, and the ladder you've been climbing can vanish like smoke. What cannot vanish is the mindset of a creator, an innovator, an independent thinker. That is where true wealth is born. The rat race is not merely about jobs, it is about thought. It is the belief that your destiny must be outsourced to an employer, a government, or a system. Escaping it is not simply about money. It is about reclaiming ownership of your mind, your time, your choices. And once you reclaim those, money follows as a byproduct, not as the master. Imagine for a moment you are standing at a crossroads. One road is wide and crowded, filled with millions of people marching in lockstep. Wake, work, sleep, repeat. Their eyes are glazed. Their conversations revolve around bills, commutes, and weekends. That road feels safe because everyone else is on it. But look closely, the further you walk, the narrower it becomes until it ends in regret, in the silent despair of a life unlived. Now look at the other road. Narrow, uncertain, unpaved. Few travel it. It requires courage to step onto it because there are no guarantees, no maps, no applause at the beginning. But at the end of that road is freedom, the kind that allows you to choose how you spend each sunrise, to decide who you become, to live not as a cog but as a creator. Which road will you choose? Most people, when faced with this choice, hesitate. They say, I'll wait until I save more money. Or, maybe next year when things settle down. But understand this, waiting is the language of the rat race. The only time you will ever have is now. Tomorrow is a promise written on water. If you do not begin building your escape today, you will wake up in 10 years in the same cubicle with the same paycheck, whispering the same excuses. Freedom does not come to those who wait, it comes to those who act. And action begins with clarity. What do you truly want? Not what your parents told you, not what your peers expect of you, not what advertisements programmed you to desire. What do you want when you strip away the noise? Most people never ask this question seriously because they are too busy surviving. But until you answer it, you are running blind. Desire is the engine of escape. Without it, you have no fuel. With it, you can burn through any obstacle. Think of Andrew Carnegie, who came to America as a poor immigrant boy working in factories for pennies. If he had accepted the script, he would have remained a worker. But he asked himself, "What do I want?" His answer was wealth on a scale that would outlast him. That clarity became a compass that guided every decision until he built an empire of steel and became one of the richest men in history. His story is not about money alone, it is about vision. Your vision must be so vivid that it pulls you forward when everything else tries to hold you back. When the rat race whispers, "Play it safe," your vision must roar, "Dare to build." When others laugh, your vision must stand taller than their ridicule. When fear grips you, your vision must be stronger than the fear. Because clarity is not a luxury. It is the difference between a life of mediocrity and a life of mastery. And once you have clarity, you must forge discipline. Freedom is not for the weak-willed. Escaping the rat race requires the same consistency, the same unshakable routine, that others waste on climbing the wrong ladder. The difference is your discipline builds your ladder. Each morning you rise early, not because a boss demands it, but because your purpose does. Each hour you invest in learning, building, creating, compounds into power that no paycheck can rival. Discipline is the bridge between your vision and your reality. Without it, even the grandest dreams remain fantasy. With it, even the smallest steps accumulate into destiny. Discipline is not punishment, it is liberation. Think of it as a sculptor's chisel. Every blow, every repetition, every stroke against the marble of your life removes the excess, the distractions, the wasted hours, until the masterpiece of your potential emerges. Most people look at discipline as chains, but in truth, the absence of discipline is the heaviest chain of all. For the undisciplined man is a slave to his impulses, to his fatigue, to the whims of others. The disciplined man is free because he commands himself. History is clear on this. Every giant of industry, every revolutionary of thought, every liberator of nations lived by discipline. Lincoln reading law books by candlelight after long days of labor. Edison running thousands of experiments in pursuit of a single breakthrough. Ford refining his assembly line until the impossible became inevitable. They understood that greatness is never built in one glorious leap. It is hammered day by day, hour by hour, with consistency so relentless that the world eventually has no choice but to call it destiny. But let us go deeper. Escaping the rat race is not only about creating wealth, it is about creating sovereignty over your own soul. Money without mastery is another prison, only gilded. How many men win fortune only to remain enslaved by